You're listening to the Fort Erie Podcast, your local source for upcoming events, hot new listings, and bite-sized interviews with business and community leaders. Here's your host, Brent Jones.
Welcome to the first ever Fort Erie Podcast, the very first episode, October 8, 2019. I'm your host, Brent Jones, and to begin, I just want to give you a breakdown, kind of a preview of what to expect from each episode, because they all follow a sort of a similar format or formula. I'm going to spend the first minute or two on hot new real estate listings. These are basically like my picks of the week. Kind of like if you know somebody from out of town who's thinking of moving to town, these are the listings for the week that I would recommend they have a look at. And then from there, we'll move on to the meat and potatoes of the episode, an interview with kind of like a local celebrity, somebody noteworthy from the community, maybe like a community ambassador, a small business owner, somebody who we want to get to know a little better. So I'll sit down and have a conversation with somebody different each episode. And then finally, we'll conclude each episode with some community events. What's fun and exciting coming up in the next 7 days or so. I'm going to endeavor to keep each episode under 15 minutes. And I say endeavor because those of you who know me know that, brevity is not always my strong suit, but I'm going to do my best. Everything that gets discussed in every episode, you can head on over to the FortEriePodcast.com for the show notes. And what I mean by show notes is below the kind of embedded player for each episode, you will find links to everything we've talked about, the community events, what my guest is up to, anything we talk about, the real estate listings. There'll be links so you can get more information on everything that we've talked about. So let's just dive right into it. Episode 1, these are my hot listings, my picks for the week. I want to begin first with a listing from Dawn Kendrick. And those of you who know Dawn may know that today is her birthday, October the 8th. So if you know her, wish her a happy birthday. Dawn, if you're listening, happy birthday. I want to highlight Dawn's new listing at 291 Central Avenue. That's Central Avenue, kind of right between Catherine and Henrietta. It's walking distance to schools. You got to have a look at these photos. It's a really well-maintained home. It's move-in ready, over 1,200 square feet. It's actually a lot bigger on the inside than it looks from the outside. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It has an eat-in kitchen, a formal dining room, and a walkout to the rear deck. So I have a sneaking suspicion this home is not going to be on the market for very long. From there, I want to jump over to 1098 Ridge Road North. Brand new listing there. That's Ridge Road just north of Garrison. It's a 1,700 square foot fully detached brick bungalow, and there's going to be an open house there, 1098 Ridge Road North, this Sunday, October 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. This home has a fully finished basement, an attached garage, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It includes a wet bar, a gas fireplace, and it's sitting on a half-acre of property. So beautiful home, another one that I would describe as a must-see. And the last listing I want to touch on quickly here is 3653 Netherby Road in Stevensville. This home is actually listed by my colleague Cheryl. It's a beautifully updated country bungalow sitting on a huge lot, 232 by 169 feet. Main floor laundry, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, just shy of 1,500 square feet total. Freshly painted, move-in ready, and it's at a great location right off the QEW near the intersection of Netherby and Stevensville Road. So again, you can learn more about any of these listings by checking out the show notes below this episode at theforteriepodcast.com. If you'd like to book a private showing of any of these listings or talk about selling your home, call me 905-626-8826. We're going to take a little pause, and I'll be back to sit down here with Stephen Passero. Okay, welcome back, folks. I'm sitting here with Stephen Passero of all sorts of things he's going to explain here in just a moment, but perhaps most notably the Vice President of Big Brothers Big Sisters of South Niagara. So welcome, Stephen. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Do you prefer Steve or Stephen?
Doesn't matter to me. My mom prefers Stephen, so let's go with that.
We're going to go with Stephen then. So Stephen, what makes Fort Erie such a great place to live and work?
In my experience, it's been the people. Mm-hmm. And the open space, the nature, mm-hmm. the proximity to everything around us.
Yeah.
So you have that small town feel, but
right.
big city amenities anywhere within a 10 to 15 minute drive.
Everything's a 15-minute drive from here, isn't it? It feels like you can get anywhere you want to be in less than 15 minutes.
Absolutely. You can cross the entire town in 15 to 20, so I always laugh when people complain about traffic.
Yeah.
I lived in Richmond Hill for 2 or 3 years. It takes you 20 minutes to leave your driveway.
I know. I used to live in North York, and now when I go to St. Catharines, I feel like it's busy, you know, compared to Fort Erie. But now I introduced you, of course, as the Vice President of Big Brothers Big Sisters of South Niagara. And so right now for this area, I know there's a promotion going on with WestJet. Could you tell us a little bit about that? What are you guys doing this fall as a fundraiser with WestJet?
So annually, we sell tickets, and you have the opportunity to win tickets to anywhere that WestJet flies.
Right.
It's a very popular promotion for us,
right.
And we're having no shortage of ease in selling tickets, so can contact, I know you have a bunch,
yes.
I have a bunch, they can contact either one of us, and
right.
we'll see who sells out first.
So for those of you listening, we'll turn it into a little friendly competition, but for those of you listening, you can drop by the Remax Niagara office on weekdays, 170 Central Avenue on Fort Erie, purchase a raffle ticket, one for $10, 3 for $25, and the draw, I think, is Christmas Eve, isn't it?
It is,
and
yeah.
All the proceeds go to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and you can win a return trip for 2 via WestJet worth up to, I think, $2,900, right?
It's a fantastic price.
I think so, absolutely. Yeah. So what else are you involved in? Outside of, I know you do a little bit of everything here in town, so what else are you doing outside of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
A little bit of everything. If I could just mention very quickly about Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Please do,
so once WestJet, that draw concludes, we are already preparing for our Bowl for Kids' Sake event, which takes place annually in March, and I spearhead that endeavor here for the Fort Erie operation, so just want to put that on people's radar screens. People have been very supportive in the past. I just wrapped up operations down at the Kinsmen Pool. Very successful summer once again. Over 300 kids through a free swimming lesson program.
Oh, that's so cool.
We put on down there in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. Public swims were very, very busy given the hot, humid days that we had this summer. So we're just down there now winterizing things and preparing for another summer next year already.
That's excellent. That's excellent. What might surprise some people to learn about some of the work that Big Brothers Big Sisters does? What might surprise people that maybe they didn't know?
I think most people are familiar with Big Brothers Big Sisters as far as the traditional match program. So those individuals, boys and girls, who are looking for some type of mentorship in their lives can come and get what we call a big, so it's a big little match. I think most people are familiar with that. I think some people would be surprised at the level of programming that we do outside of that. So in the schools, some of our different campaigns and programs that we have. So it really is a broad-based organization. And the second thing I think people would be surprised about is the need for the services. Throughout South Niagara and Niagara as a whole, we have a tremendously long waiting list. And we do. So one of the things that we fundraise for is to help create these matches, create these mentorship programs and these opportunities for these kids who are waiting. But we're also putting the push on for anybody who has an hour a week that they think that they could dedicate to one of these boys or girls who are waiting for someone to come along in their life to provide this type of positive mentorship. We'd love to hear from you. And I'll be putting links to really everything you're up to, the organizations you're involved with, below this episode in the show notes. So for those of you listening, please check it out. You said as little as an hour a week, somebody could get involved? Absolutely. Little as an hour a week. We just ask that it be consistent, for the benefit of the child. Of course. And what we do is it's not a first come, first serve program. So we don't have for instance, if you were to come through the door, Brent, we don't match you with the next child on the wait list. So it really is a very specific matching process that we go through. It's personalized. We want to make sure that it's a good fit for both parties because we want it to be successful. And I'm very proud to say that I'm a part of that organization. And it really is thanks to Barb, our executive director, and our great staff over there, Peter Papp, our president, the rest of the board. It's a phenomenal group to be a part of.
You're doing some great work there for sure. Well, I want to move on to something here called the rapid fire round. So this is just a chance for people to get to know you a little better. We'll put about 60 seconds on the clock here. First answer that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I hope I have some.
Let's find out. Okay, what do you take in your coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
Don't drink coffee. All right. What is one thing you own that you wish you didn't?
A mortgage.
I hear that a lot. Describe the perfect night out in 3 words. You can pass if you want.
Perfect night out, dinner and drinks.
Dinner and drinks, that is 3 words. What's your biggest guilty pleasure?
The drinks.
Okay. Do you have a favorite song?
Anything by Garth Brooks.
Anything by Garth Brooks, good. How many books would you say you've read so far this year?
2.
Two. There's an irony to it, folks, because again, for those of you listening, we're sitting at Fort Erie Public Library right now to conduct this interview.
And I'm also the chair of the Adult Literacy Council, so my number should probably be higher than 2. But
we should be adding a 0 on the end there, I think. So, are you a good dancer?
I would put it myself at a 6 out of 10.
That's a fair score. Have you ever met a celebrity? And if so, who?
Mel Gibson.
You met Mel Gibson?
Here in Fort Erie.
Oh yeah, wow. When was that?
That's a story for another day.
All right, another day. If you were famous, what would you be famous for?
If I was famous, what would I be famous for?
Your radio voice.
People tell me I should be on the radio or a bingo caller, so maybe that's...
You should be. Okay, that was the end of the rapid fire round, and you did pretty well, I got to say. Actually, in 60 seconds, we got most of them through there. So
I learned 2 things about myself, so thank you.
See, there you go. It's a journey of self-discovery. Would you ever consider getting back into local politics?
I would say I haven't left local politics, to be honest with you.
Okay, sure.
I'm a firm believer that you don't have to be elected or on council to help create change in the community, so
Right.
I'm still involved in a number of endeavors, and I still help people do different things on the municipal level. I'm just not front and center every Monday night, so it's nice to take a break, even if it's forced by the voters every 4 years.
Sure,
but I think it's
sure.
good to reset, reconnect, and get involved in some different things during that time in between. I've always said that if you disappear after you lose an election, you weren't really running for the right reasons in the first place.
That is a very noble thing, I think, That's a great way of looking at it. So, again, folks, I'm going to encourage you to connect with not only Big Brothers Big Sisters of South Niagara, but also with Stephen, and you'll find links below the show. I want to thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me, Stephen. Thank you.
My pleasure, Brent. Thank you.
All right, let's wrap up this episode with highlighting some community events. Now, some of you are aware of the Coffee Chat series, but there is a special presentation coming up Wednesday, October the 9th from 2 until 3:30 p.m. on elder abuse. And I understand that this presentation is being hosted by Crime Stoppers Niagara. You can attend at Fort Erie Lions Club. That's at 265 High Street. Again, Wednesday, October the 9th. Friday, October the 11th, Fort Erie Lions Club will be hosting their Baked Ham fundraising dinner. And this dinner happens from 5 until 6:30 p.m. It's $12 for adults, $6 for kids. There's takeout available, and all the proceeds go to support Fort Erie Lions community initiatives. The 15th annual Crystal Beach 5K is happening Saturday, October the 12th. Runners of all ages are welcome, and yes, there is still time to register. No excuses. Safari Niagara will be hosting Boo at the Zoo, October 12th, 13th, and 14th, a 3-day event. This should be a lot of fun for families. There's costume contests, trick-or-treating, fun zone in the amphitheater area. Be sure to check that out. This next one is sad. The last day that Sizzlin' Jill's will be open. Many of you know Sizzlin' Jill's just outside Canadian Tire. Your last chance to get something delicious from Jill is Sunday, October the 13th. You have until 6 p.m. Live at Sessions, we got Pappy John's band performing October the 13th from 7 to 11 p.m. at Sessions on the River. Admission is free. Doors open at 6. Be there for some live music. And just lastly, I wanted to highlight that next Tuesday, October the 15th, the 2019 racing season at the Fort Erie Racetrack comes to a close. But the good news, it's also Fan Appreciation Day. So that means they're giving away free programs and doing prize draws after each race. And of course, admission and parking are always free at the track. So be sure to check it out. Do you have a community event coming up this fall that you'd like me to highlight on the show? If you do, please visit theforteriepodcast.com. Click the contact button. Also, I'll be back next Tuesday with a new episode number 2, and my guest will be none other than Tina Taransis, who you may know from Southside's Patio Bar and Grill. Be sure to subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. You can find the show on popular podcast players like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. And if you enjoyed this show, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it on social media or just tell a friend. That would be good too. Take care. We'll talk soon.
You've been listening to the Fort Erie Podcast with your host, Brent Jones, a sales representative with RE/MAX Niagara Realty Limited Brokerage. Follow @BuyWithBrent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates. Subscribe to the Fort Erie Podcast on popular platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and catch a new bite-sized episode every week. Until next time.